Welcome, YouTubers! Thank you for watching Abe's Front Porch Talk. Today I'm going to be discussing about hormones being put inside of our food. And I have here what I pulled up, the reason why hormones are put into food. But let me ask you this. Do you think it's healthy for hormones to be in our food? Or do you think it's bad for us? You will be the one to determine. But I just did a podcast about antibiotics being put into the food, and can taking too much antibiotics into our bodies be harming us at the same time, especially when we become sick and we need antibiotics to help with the cold or a flu or whatever we have to fight the virus off, the infection. Well, not only that, but with the antibiotics being inside the food, and we're taking in that, plus the medicine that we're taking, combining together, could we be overdosing ourselves with the antibiotics? That is what I discussed on my podcast. And if you'd like to see that, you can go to Abe's Front Porch Talk on the podcast like I have in the descriptions above. I may do a video on that one, but I'm going to talk about the hormones being put inside of our foods. And this is the reason why they allow the hormones to be put into food. And hopefully you guys can make sense out of this. I try to make it interesting. And it says here, injecting hormones into young livestock can make them gain weight faster. More weight means more meat, which means more profit for the producer. Hormones are also increase the production of milk and dairy. Increases the production of milk and dairy now. And this is milk and dairy cows, okay? Let me throw that in there. Hormones have been used for decades in the meat and dairy industry. Now, this right here that I just read, this little paragraph, if you notice, it said the producer of meat profits, which means more meat, more profit, more money for this producer. Basically, whoever runs these young livestock that's having this done, they're wanting more profit to come in, but they're not caring about minding your health. So as long as they getting the money, that's all that matters to them. So they filling up the livestock with all this hormones, no telling what else, but right now I'm talking about hormones being put in it. Coming from our dairy meats, our dairy cattle, what I'm trying to say. Milk, cheese. And we're having a cheeseburger, and that burger's got hormones in it. Then we're putting the cheese on top of a burger, so that's tripling the hormones, or doubling the hormones, however you want to say it, I guess. Then, if we drink a glass of milk, that's got it in it later. Or we're eating cereal with milk. We're just got all these hormones running through our bodies. And it's to make the livestock now gain weight faster. Now, when they gain weight faster and get so big, what do you think it's doing to us as human beings? We're eating this, and that's why we're gaining all this weight, probably. It's because of the hormones making the livestock gain all this weight to produce the meats out here. And then we're eating it. So it's got to come from somewhere. And then we go to our doctors, and our doctors tells us to eat fruits and vegetables and to eat less than what we're doing and not to overeat. Yeah, we get that. But when we are eating the meats that we need to have for protein, they used to say, or still do. I remember it being little, and they taught in school meats had protein in it. And now we're learning it's bad for us. And if the hormones is doing this to the livestock, then think about what it can be doing to you yourself. Think about what we're putting into our bodies. We go and have all these shots that we got to have before we start school as a little child. And we got these shots to stop us from catching polio now, or these other diseases. But at the same time, stuff like this, hormones going into the meats, could that be interfering with a lot of the shots that we are forced to take? And not just that, but I'm going to go back a little bit about the antibiotics from the podcast. Taking the antibiotics, eating meats that's got antibiotics in it, all this medicine running through our bodies to fight off certain infections, and even in the animals fighting off infections. So we're putting this in, and then you wonder why young people are sick, and how is it that the young people can't get out and work much anymore? Or, like the older generation, I've always heard them say, I just don't understand what's wrong with the young generation. They just don't want to get out and work. When I was little and younger, we used to have to get out in the cotton fields and work in the hay fields and all of this. Well, I'm glad you did. But you need to stop and start thinking. It's the stuff they're putting in our foods. The shots we have to take every day, or not every day, let me rephrase that, I'm sorry. The shots that we're forced to take as a child before we can start school to keep us from catching certain diseases, as I already said. Then we go back, and then we're eating the meats. Do you see where I'm going with this? We are physically drained. It's hurting our bodies inside, and our government is allowing this. And for what? For the producers to get profits off of this, to hurry up to get the cattle going because it takes longer for them to eat the grains that they need to grow into what they should be. And that's not right. And they're collecting all this profits. To me, they're murderers for what they have done. And our government has allowed this to go on. Now, I believe they have stopped putting certain things inside chickens. I don't believe they're allowing the steroid shots to be put into chickens anymore. But I will do more, try to get into the research on that one a little bit more. But let's go on a little bit further and let's learn some more about the hormone stuff here. Does cooking destroy hormones in meat? Steroid hormones are destroyed by heat processing. Male and female hormones are contained in meat. Beef, pork, chicken. Only female ones are in milk and eggs. Fruits and vegetables include phytohormones. I can't say that word, I'm sorry. For example, soy. All the hormones used in the agricultural sector can affect the human body. Basically what I was just saying, it can affect the human body. And this is going on. This, once again, is why people like me at a young age of 36 or younger is hurting with chronic pain, probably, besides injuries, what could have happened. We're having all these difficulties, but yet people cannot understand why is the younger generation today not wanting to really get out here and work. Why do they claim they're so tired? Why do they claim that they have pain? They don't know what pain is. Yes, we do. Get some wisdom and get some knowledge in your heads and start learning what could be what. And does hormones and meat affect humans? Let me click on this link, okay? Let's find this here. In 2013, 80% of U.S. cows were injected with hormones to increase the meat production. Basically what I was just saying. But 80% of U.S. cows were injected back then. In addition, there is no scientific evidence to prove that drinking milk or eating meat from hormone-treated animals affect breast cancer risk. Why does it have to be something scientifically proven? I mean, you want to trust all the scientists out here in this world? You rather trust these scientists or doctors that think they have all this higher education? If that's you, God have mercy on your soul. That's all I got to say. You know, I've always been told that my family has said horrible things, like I said in one of my videos about me. They have said I'm lazy, trifling, called me all kinds of names. They just don't know that I know these things. But let me tell you, I'm trying to prove a point right here why a lot of people my age and younger are sick, probably. And the reason in behind this and why this is taking place. And the next time you think a child or is not wanting to just do their homework or child's faking sick to get out of school, know the difference. Are they really faking so they don't have to go to school? Or is it that they really are and you just don't know the signs? Maybe your doctors that you take your child to say they are faking because they don't understand it. A lot of people looks at children like you're too young to be sick. You're too young to have all those problems. Well, you may be right, but you need to stop and think. We done discussed a little bit about shots that we have to have, and then all of this in the meats now, the hormones, antibiotics getting put in certain meats. So, therefore, what could be making us sick if this isn't what it could be? I believe it is. Think about that. Use wisdom and knowledge. If this is doing this to the livestock, making them gain weight for more meat, and then we're eating this meat and we're putting it into our bodies, then yes, this is what's going on. I'm a big meat eater. I love to eat a good old hamburger. I love dairy. But all of this is what they put in it. I don't agree with this. But what can I do about it? Maybe if our government would start making this not be acceptable and have it all pulled out, I wonder if people will start feeling better. And I have found something here earlier, and I think it was from WebMD. I don't know if I could find it, but here it is. WebMD, Understanding Food Safety, Pesticides, Hormones, and Antibiotics in Food. Here we go. And as soon as it will pull up, oh my gosh, it's 18 degrees, folks. Oh my Lord. I'm so glad I'm inside where it's warm. Or I would be hurting if I had to be outside. I just couldn't do it. And it's still pulling up. I'm sorry. My tablet's slow. Here we go. Safer food for a healthier you. Pesticides in produce, hormones in milk, antibiotics in meat. What are all these extra ingredients doing in our food? Improved testing methods now allow researchers to detect and monitor a strange brew of unpleasant chemicals in our food and bodies. Although the amounts are small and there's controversy about whether or not they're harmful, their presence alone is disturbing to many, especially parents of small children. Well, I could agree with that paragraph. I can see why. It should be disturbing to us all. It really should. And we should start questioning a lot of this. But that's all I've got. I'm sorry this was long. I didn't mean for this to go so long. But I hope you guys enjoyed Abe's Front Porch Talk. And I hope you learned something about this tonight. And y'all have a good one. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and forward this on to anybody that you can think of. Share it. Tell them to subscribe.